All right. So this is it's October 20th today. It's the October Forged by Fire. This is something that we do. We try once a month to bring in some of our rockstar students from the academy and interview them. And today we're going to be interviewing this rockstar team right here, Teresa and Denise. These ladies have been in the academy. They're in their third year now. And today they're going to be here to pull back the curtain on their journey and showcase what's possible when you decide, commit, and resolve. Now, before we get into this, of course, I have to do the disclaimers because, just because our lawyer says we have to. So before we move forward with this training, please note that the following important disclaimers, let me pull this up. This training is solely for educational and informational purposes and is not to be considered an investment advice or an endorsement of any particular investment strategy. The success stories and results we share are not typical. They depend on a variety of factors like your background, dedication, and the application of the material. That one's the most key, the application of the material. Essentially, your experience will vary based on your effort, your education, your business model, and market conditions that are beyond your control. So let's discuss our anti-guarantee now. Okay, so despite our commitment to delivering high quality training and resources, it's crucial to understand that most people, due to a lack of focus, dedication, or execution, fail to derive any significant benefit from this or similar training programs. And this is neither a get-rich-quick scheme nor a guaranteed pathway to success. Your personal effort, skill set, and other variables will largely dictate your level of success or failure. We provide the tools, but how you use them is entirely your responsibility. So by continuing with this training, you're acknowledging and accepting that we have an anti-guarantee. The one thing we do guarantee is that if you don't do the work and you don't follow the rules and you take shortcuts, you will fail. All right. With that being said, now that I got all that legal jargon out of the way, woo! For those of you that are here in the chat, tell me how many of you are here you've been trying to acquire properties, knowing that you might need a partner, or maybe even do the DIY because that's just what you like to do, but now you know you need a partner, right? How many of you have been trying to acquire those properties and, maybe try to find someone that you can trust to build a portfolio with? Anyone? There's nobody in the chat. They're all too scared from that legal bullshit I just read, aren't they? They're like, oh my God, I don't even want to talk. Leave me alone, Jen. Me. What's up, Caroline? I see you. Will says, I'll talk. I'm your huckleberry. Right on. Well, anyways, if you happen to be sitting out there wondering, okay, I want to get into properties, and Jen and Stacy are constantly talking about joint ventures. We're always talking about that. But how do I know who I can trust to do this business with? So today we've got Denise and Teresa here. They joined our academy independently about 3 years ago, and they quickly identified one another as, you might be my person. And then they started doing deals together. So we always talk about how this is a team sport. And today they're going to pull back the curtain and they're going to talk to you about, what are they doing in terms of teamwork and getting their deals into the mix, closing on them and performing. Okay. So as we're here in the Zoom room, make sure you put some more people just join. Make sure if you have questions as we're going through this interview, if you have questions, please put your questions in the Q&A segment of the Zoom room. Don't put them in the chat because they will get lost. Because at the very end, when it's time to open up for questions, I'm just going to go straight to that Q&A tab. So make sure you put them there. And if you're watching on social media on any other platform, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Insta, wherever you are, get into the Zoom room where you can literally put your questions in the chat. Okay. Now we do these weekly trainings. So we do them every week. All you got to do is register once and then you'll get the reminders. So if you haven't registered for each weekly training, this is your first one, make sure you come into the Zoom room, and when you register, you'll get the reminders for each one. If you're in the Zoom room, awesome. That means you're registered. It means we have your email on file, and then you'll get the recordings and the replays emailed to you, which is awesome. Cool. All right, let's go. Move this out of the way, all this chat. Christina Cologne's here. Cool. Ladies, what's up? Come off mute. Let's talk. Hi.
Hey, oh my God, how's it going?
I am awesome. Okay. I want you guys to just know that I am so grateful to find both of you at the same time to come on here and pour into the community. We're really grateful for it. So I just wanted to say thank you.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for asking us to come.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Why don't you guys just kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself? Either one of you. Teresa, if you want to go first. Denise, just tell us about you. Like, where do you live? What's your family do? What are your hobbies? What do you do for work? Or everything. Where you at? Tell us.
Okay, so I live in New Jersey. Not the greatest state to do multifamily, so therefore I work remotely. I do have a background in real estate and construction, so that was a helpful skill set. I still have 2 kids at home. The rest of the kids are grown. I have grandchildren, and I look forward to spending time with them. And being semi-retired is really the perfect fit to me. I like to fit for me. I like to keep going and keep working, and I sort of have the real estate bug, so I think I'll always be in real estate. But having that time to be home and spend a day with my grandkids, or go traveling with my husband, that's just been fantastic.
Love that. Denise, how about you?
I also live in New Jersey, but Teresa and I live about an hour away from each other. We never see each other, only on Zoom, because they're both super busy. But I started buying rental properties about 10 years ago locally here in New Jersey. And that's when I got the real estate bug. And then I had kept hearing about people who invested in other cities where they don't live, and I was like dying to know how people do that, because as I listened to my podcasts on like Bigger Pockets and everything, and hear people talking about buying houses for $150,000, and I'm like, is that real? That's not real. So anyway, I found out it's real and wanted to learn how to invest in other markets that, it's a little bit easier to get into the market and at the lower price points, and still have a really good investment. I'm from the New York area, and, New York is known for its real estate. But there are other markets that are really great, and wanted to learn that. So I do that. I've been a massage therapist for 17 years, and just started investing on my own. And now I thankfully learned the way of, partnering with people to, join heads and get further.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. So each of you had a little bit of experience before coming into the academy, but not necessarily, commercial properties, right?
No.
No commercial at all, ever.
What made you decide to start that journey? Why did you make that transition? I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are into single family or short-term rentals, or, even doing single family fix and flips. Like, what they might be on the fence wondering, what were some of the compelling reasons that made you guys make that jump?
Well, for me, I wanted passive income, and I owned a home staging company, which was a lot of work, was a lot of hours. Always thinking of the logistics, what's going to happen when, and, having different teams around where they're supposed to be. It was difficult, and I wanted to get ready for retirement, and passive income is what I wanted. But I always loved real estate, so I did do a few flips. So while I had my staging company, my husband and I were working on flips in New Jersey on the weekends, evenings, anytime we were shot. We were working so hard and swinging a hammer and working all day, and then doing that on the weekends. And then I just asked someone on Facebook, like, who is the best coach or mentor for passive income for multifamily? And I had a couple people recommend people, and one of them was Stacy. And I interviewed people, and I talked to Stacy. I'm like, okay, that's who I want to be my mentor. So I just kind of jumped in. And of course, Jen, as you know, 1.5 years in, I sold my staging company, and I just do this.
I love that. That's awesome. Denise, how about you?
So my very, very first rental property was just a condo in Jersey City. Like, I just wanted to start slow, just simple, nothing crazy. And I remember my dad was like, you should get like a 2-family or 4-family. And I'm like, I am not ready for that. I'm just the type that I need to start slow and learn a little bit and then be able to take the next step. Yeah. So I wound up buying duplexes here in New Jersey, and the income was just excellent. And I'm like, okay, this is something that I need to do more of. And but I was like kind of out of cash because I put my money in my duplexes here in New Jersey because the price points are quite high. I bought a 2-family for $430,000 in like a D-class neighborhood in Jersey City, right? So that gives you an idea of like, and I was putting all my own money in. So that's when I decided I wanted to buy in these other cities where it's a little bit more affordable to buy multifamily. And I had, over the years, I had gone to like seminars and webinars and weekend seminars of all the different programs that you could join, for like coaching or to like advance your real estate career. And I was always hesitant. I never knew, if it was really legitimate or not, and never really was able to take the leap. And then when I was researching how to do, invest in other cities and found you guys, you and Jen, you and Stacy, and joined the Facebook group and was watching a little bit and learning, and took the master classes that you guys had a couple times. And just from, those free classes, I learned so much more than in any weekend seminar I had taken. I was getting the specific answers that I was asking, like how, like, I know that you like the general, like, okay, this is what you do, but like specifically, like, how do I do a rehab from far away? Right. So there are all these questions, and I was getting the answers to these questions just with the free seminar. And I'm like, okay, I think, and you guys seem really genuine. Of course, you never know if you really are, right? It could be just like a sales pitch, but I took the leap and obviously found out right away that you guys are genuine. And obviously I wouldn't be in the program 3 years later if, it didn't work out. So, now to this point, I'm doing this, almost full time. I mean, I'm just part-time massaging and doing this full time, and have 5 rental properties in Ohio now. Few of them were with Teresa, and we're just moving forward and going bigger. So, we bought duplexes first, and now we closed on an 8-unit last year. And I also closed on a 10-unit that I'm rehabbing. Now we're putting in offers for like 30 to 50 units now. So
that's rad.
It's
okay,
pretty
so
crazy. Yeah.
You guys both had a pretty strong foundation independently. Then you both joined the academy almost around the same time, right? Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Few months?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Denise was in before me, right, Denise? So
I
like
just heard Stacy from across the room go, because she remembers exactly when you both joined. I don't. I was over there doing mindset stuff.
It was
right,
kind of
well,
at the same time.
What
Denise
month
came
did
in
you
first,
join,
right?
Denise?
I think I joined in October.
Okay, and I joined in December. So yeah,
Okay,
she
well,
was
there
a
you go.
couple months ahead of me.
I wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't feel so bad. So when you got into the academy, like, what made you guys decide to team up together? When did that happen?
So I was in the middle of doing a flip here in New Jersey with another woman that mentored me on house flipping that I found in one of the real estate groups.
Okay.
So I first started locally. My first goal, because it was, pandemic, I was laid off. I was like, I want to flip a house. The rates were low, things were going good real estate wise. So everyone was moving out of New York City to Northern Jersey. So the residential real estate market was very hot at the time. So Teresa and I had, communicated a little bit, like through, individually through the group. And I learned that she was also did some flips, and she showed me pictures. I was like, oh my God, I'm at the point where I need to hire a stager. I love your pictures. Who's your stager? She's like, well, it's me. So Teresa, I wound up hiring her to stage that house to then eventually put on the market and sell. And the experience I had with the woman that I partnered with, we weren't a match. She's a very smart person. I learned a lot from her, but we weren't a match. And I was like, I don't know if I can work with people. I don't know what my problem is, but like, this is not good. So then once I started working with Teresa, as soon as I started talking to her, and listening to her as a business person, conducting her business, I was like, this is the kind of person I want to work with. this woman, this is it. This is the kind of vibe that I'm looking for. So, and then, she, and I just started kind of talking, bouncing ideas off and looking at deals, analyzing deals, because we're still learning the calculator at that time and learning how to find comps. And then we just kind of clicked and started to buy properties together, and it just worked out.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Teresa,
it did.
what was your vibe on this?
Yeah. And well, when we went to the Tuesday calls, the group coaching, Denise asked all the questions I was afraid to ask, like that I thought were like, I'm not asking that dumb question. And she answered them like, oh, we're like the same person. That's what I said. She asked the same questions and I don't have to do it. She's like, I'm getting all the answers, So that was my first impression that hey, she had the same questions I did. And I need to be a little more bold like that and speak up and ask questions. But we sort of were like the buddy system, like we would look at deals and share them and say, what do you think of this deal? Look at the calculator. Does this work? And then she'd catch something on my calculator that wasn't right, or I'd say, oh, don't forget this. And that's how we did it. And she got a deal under contract and asked me if I wanted to partner with her, which I really didn't want to partner with someone. I thought I would just do this myself.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Partner.
I didn't either. I was afraid.
I didn't understand that Well, I didn't understand the concept. I thought it was like, oh, I can do this myself, And so, yeah. But then I said, oh, all right, let's just do it. And then that deal ended up falling through, but then I found a deal. And so I said, you know what, that was a good experience, even though it didn't work out because the house was needed too much work. Let me ask her. So I asked her if she wanted to partner, and she did. Excuse me. So that was our first deal together. And then we've done other deals. She did deals with other people. I've done deals with other people. And then every once in a while, we see a property that is like, hey, do you want to partner on this one? And then we come together and we partner on it.
I love it.
So we had some other really cool strategies we've used over the past couple years, which has been fun.
Yeah.
But
I first of all, I love the whole open marriage concept. So thank you for walking through that. I love the fact that you guys are like, yeah, we're gonna do this together and build our own skyline like together. But oh, by the way, I'm also gonna go do that with other people, and everybody's just cool with that. I love that because it doesn't limit you, right? And then as you're doing other deals with other people, you're gonna learn different perspectives from them too. And then you can come back to each other. So I really love the way you guys did that. I want to know about the first deal you guys did together. Who wants to tell me that story?
Oh God, that was so long ago.
Schaefer.
Schaefer.
Here's what I want to know specifically, Denise. This is what I want to know specifically. How did you know this was the good deal and this was the deal to do together as a partnership? And then how did you approach that conversation with one another with who's going to do what and put the operating agreement together? Like, how did that whole process work?
I think because we were both so new at the process that we didn't really specify from the beginning who was going to do what. We both kind of like jumped in and said, okay, I'll call the contractors, you call the inspectors. We just kind of winged it, but it worked. You know what I mean? So in the operating agreement, we didn't have any specifics about who was going to do what. It was just like a 50-50. We knew we both were going to be spending the same amount of time working on it. We were both, had the availability. So from that perspective, and also Teresa and I did have this conversation where, it was, one of our coaches kind of said, okay, one person can do this, one person can look at the finances, one person, and we both kind of weren't comfortable with that in the sense that we both wanted to be involved and had our hands in every part of the deal. So we wanted to learn and we're both like a little bit like controlling. So we both want to know what's going on with everything. and it's not just like a trust thing, but it's also kind of a trust thing in the sense of like, we didn't know each other yet, still figuring out how this process works. So we both really wanted, because we're both, part of what works really well for us is that we're both very similar in the way that we're really detail oriented. And so we both want to see all the details all the time.
Perfect.
And so that kind of worked
Mhm.
in that sense. Would you agree, Teresa?
Yeah, exactly. We're both learning together. I was not going to give up any part of that deal to
Yes.
somebody else because, first of all, I didn't know what she knew.
Right.
And I also wanted to learn it.
Mhm.
So we literally did everything together. But, sometimes we say, okay, you make a few phone calls, I'll make a few calls. It's not like we're on the phone at the same time calling people. But
Right.
we worked on every aspect of the job together. I handled a little bit more of the contractor. But that's only because I had that experience. And once you start a relationship with that contractor and talking to them, it's almost better you just go with it. But other
Yeah.
than that, we worked on everything together.
Absolutely. I think that this is really critical for those of you that are tuning in and watching and wondering, how do I approach this, because as you ascend and you go up, eventually you figure out what your skill sets are and you find out about the other person and what their skill sets are. And as you do more deals, you can kind of figure out, okay, how can we divide and conquer? But in the beginning, you guys are absolutely right. You're brand new to each other. It's not about trust and it's not about taking it personal, but it is a business. And you are in that first deal. So I love that. You guys should all take copious notes on that stuff. They both did every aspect of the deal together and then they learned. So I love that story. That's
Right. So now we are at the point, I think, where when we are in a deal and Teresa's just going to kind of run with something.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. If she wants to, and she's just kind of like already on that track and like, I can trust her because I know what her skill set is and what her, how detailed she is and what a hard worker she is. So the trust is there.
It's like you guys dated on your first deal and felt it out. You know what I mean? Then on the second deal, you're like, all right, let's just go ahead and go steady. Like, we're just going to go ahead and be committed, but still open relationship. So, and then you figured out on even more deals. And now you're just at the point where you guys know each other really well. And I think that's critical for everybody when they're first starting and they're afraid to work with people, is that what you're looking for in another person. And I want to ask you guys this. You figured each other out and you have a really cool relationship now. You each know each other's roles, skill sets, strengths, opportunity areas. What really shook out? Like, which one of you is really good at finding the deal? Which one of you is really good at closing the deal or managing the deal? Like, what are your roles now that everything has shook out and you can divide and conquer? What came of that over the years?
I think that we're both pretty good. We both could fall into any of those roles. But I see that Denise is like, she is crazy about evaluating markets. Like and she gets so excited. She's like, oh yeah. And I'm just like, another article snooze. But she just loves these articles. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, that's, it's really cool that she's finding all these things, because that's going to help us when we go to market this, if we're looking for capital partners. And she knows that this big corporation is hiring right next door. She knows all that stuff, plus the calculator. She knows the calculator. So every time I evaluate a deal, like we're both in acquisition modes right now. And I'm getting deals and I'm evaluating them, underwriting them, but I'm sending them to her because I know she's going to find something wrong with it. Like, she just can really zone in on that calculator and know what did I miss? What should be changed? She's really sharp about that. So she kind of, has fallen into that role, I think.
I love
And
that.
then I always like the rehab stuff, and I'm probably going to be a little stronger in that area and stick with that because I enjoy the value add part.
Yeah. Denise, how about you? How do you think everything shook out?
I think Teresa was right on the money. Yeah. Like, she already expressed that she does not enjoy market research and I do. So I'm like, that's cool. Like, I don't mind doing it and like sharing that information. And I know she's already proven that she's really good at, managing the contractor, and keeping them on task and really not taking their word for it unless they show us proof, of like pictures and video that X and Y and Z has been done, so she is really good at that, and she's good at the calculator too. But I feel like I got a handle of the calculator like a little bit sooner than she did. Yeah, I would agree with whatever she had just
And
said.
she's attended more apartment calls than I have. As I was working through the apartment building rehab we did, I'm doing a lot of that, and she's, on those calls, and she's learning so much about apartments. So she's really kind of ahead of me in that area. So that's where we can kind of really team up, because she has that strength of apartments underwriting, acquisitions. And anything I do, I know it will, she can fine tune it when it comes to the acquisition part.
That's awesome.
I'm getting there though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're all on this journey, right? Trying to just get better at things. But I think that there's something beautiful about the fact that you've identified each other's strengths and you stay in that lane, and now you can go a little bit faster, right? Because I love market research, by the way, Denise. I think like we're probably kindred spirits. It's my favorite thing to do, is to go figure out that market. I love to identify emerging markets, like that macroeconomic shit it's my favorite. So I get that, but I would rather die than be in that calculator. So I give that to Stacy. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a boil on my eyeball.
Stacy is a master at that
But
calculator.
I mean, she built the calculator. Let her do it. And that's my whole thing, right? So I love that you've identified each other's strengths. You stay in that lane. And there's always going to be room for improvement, but do we really want to burn a bunch of calories, learn a shit that we don't really like or get? No, let's stay in our lane and go for it. So I'm excited to hear that that's what you guys are doing.
Can I just add one quick thing about market research? So I think the reason I'm so excited about researching like emerging neighborhoods, and when I hear that there's like a buzz about a neighborhood, I get really excited, because I personally have made the most money selling real estate when I bought low in an emerging market. Yes. And the sale is just like, yes, when you're watching it like grow and all the hipster restaurants are coming out around your property, you're like, this is happening. And then you sell it. Yeah. So to me, that's like the jackpot. So that's why I love finding new markets.
Me too. That is where millionaires are made, right there.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that you say that, because my background is taking people's homes that are dated, need work, and for the least amount of money, making them the best they can be, whether it's through improvement. So that's what I look at. I see these places, I'm like, oh, I know I can get more rent if I did this, this, and this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's a master at that.
I love that. So how many deals have you guys been able to do together so far?
We have 3 together, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And so Schaefer was the first. How did that one all pan out at the end? What made you? Great. It must have gone well, because you guys decided to do a second and a third.
Well, what was great about Schaefer was that we got a really good deal on it. Mm-hmm. So we got a really, really nice price reduction before closing, that we were kind of like, I remember talking to Teresa, she's like, we're not going to get, or like, I was like, are we going to get this? And she's like, we just have to ask. And we got like 20,000 off. So we bought it for like $100,000. Mm-hmm. And, we had the typical like issues with the contractor, who was a little bit of a wacko, but we got through it. And it's a great little duplex.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And then what was the next deal?
Duck Creek. Next deal was another duplex. That was a challenge, right from the get-go, and the owner. But this was a creative project too, because the seller would not let us in to do the appraisal. So we couldn't get our hard money loan for this property. So we had to summon someone from our network in our WOW group to lend us the money to buy it cash. And somebody had capital to deploy that was just sitting there, and they wanted to make some money. So they lent us the money to buy it cash. Once we bought it, it was ours. Then I can get in my own house, right? And go do the appraisal. So then we did a delayed purchase with the hard money lender, paid her back, and moved forward with the deal.
Super creative. I
Totally
love that.
forgot about that.
It's amazing what right. And it's like childbirth, right, Denise? You forget all the pain you went through and then you end up with a second kid. It's crazy. I think that when you're facing those challenges that, you know, you have to get really resourceful. And it seems like that's what you guys did. I think most of the reason why everybody's here is they all want to hear about the 8 unit and the $650,000 in equity. So like, let's just cut to the chase and get to that. Talk to us about the 8 unit and how did you get that 650,000 in equity? And what was that whole process? Everybody's on the edge of their seat. Let's just go for it.
Well, first of all, this is another creative way we were able to purchase this property. I had put in an offer on this property and was negotiating with the seller. Seller was being, a curmudgeon. And I think I had the wrong realtor. He kind of bungled it a little bit. And the seller didn't want to take my offer. So what we did was we had Teresa go in and put an offer in that was like lower than or the same amount as what I had, with like the same terms and everything, but like presented a little differently, like a little more cleanly with her own broker, and wound up getting the deal under contract.
The greatest story of all time. Like when you're in a network and nobody, and you just literally have whoever you want, go ahead and make offers on things and get the best one. I mean, that was kind of genius, y'all.
We're in a network.
First time we've done that, by the way.
That was the second time we've done that.
That's shocking.
Being in the network was key because we trusted each other. Like, who's to say I wouldn't just go okay, I got it now. It's under contract. Thanks for the info and the intel, because she's the one who did all the inspections and she had all that done, right? And that was Greenlee had all the inspections done. You didn't get to inspections on this one.
No, I didn't get to inspections yet, but
you had just done the negotiating.
And I'd gotten a lot of information about the property.
Yeah. So but there's that trust level there we had. And then we went from there and we're able to, it was a very, very tough negotiation. And my coach helped me a lot because I had to stand firm, and I wasn't really used to doing that. I'm like, oh yeah, but he won't come down any further. He says, well, do the numbers work? My coach says, do the numbers work? I'm like, no. Well, then you have to stay firm, and just kept working it. And finally we agreed on a price, a good price reduction.
Yeah, good 30,000. Yeah.
How much? I missed that.
30,000.
30,000. That's awesome. That's awesome. So talk a little bit about that, Teresa, the process of that negotiation. Was it Coach? Which coach was it? Did you have Coach Joe? Okay. Oh yeah. That's a tough New Yorker right there.
Yeah, because I had to wait. Like when the seller would get back to me, I would want to respond right away. And I'm just like, don't say anything. He waited 3 days to get back to me. It's kind of like dating. I'm not going to call him right away. I'm going to wait 3 days to call him. So that's kind of how I had to handle it. And that waiting was very difficult, but we had something in our training was recent. And we were talking about that.
I was just going to interject and say, Teresa and I were both reading that book about the negotiating.
Oh, Chris
Never
Voss.
Never split the difference. Yep.
Never split the difference. And so we kept reminding each other, just wait, like just sit back and make them come to you, like let them talk, like that kind of stuff. It was just hard, it's like it's hard to sit back and like be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything. Yeah.
We wanted that apartment in the worst way. We wanted that building. This was be our first apartment. Like, hey, we made it. We're buying apartments. And it was really hard to wait. So, because we're like, oh, we're not going to get it if we don't respond. We could lose it. There's a lot of fear, and you just have to like breathe and wait, because the numbers don't work and the calculator doesn't lie.
Mm. Oh, that's powerful right there, because that emotion is a very human experience. And you're not the only two that I've heard that from, especially because it's the first and you want it so bad. And sometimes those emotions just run away. And then we're making scarcity driven decisions. And that doesn't have any place in business. So I'm really proud of you guys for that. If you had to go back, is there anything you would have done differently in that negotiation? Or do you think you did pretty good?
No, that part worked out really well. Along the way, there were some other things we probably could have done differently, but as far as getting that under contract, getting the negotiations done and all that, I think that was really the best it could have been, and we got it at a very good price. That was part of what enabled us to have that growth in the equity.
Yeah. Okay, so $30,000 price reduction. By the way, the best tip you can ever know in negotiations, and Stacy is scary at negotiations, y'all. Like scary. First person to talk loses. Mm-hmm. So, our banter at dinner is hilarious. We're both I'm just kidding. I don't like to lose. Either does she. So it's really cool. So when you're doing that, you have a $30,000 price reduction. Then what happens? Now you're under contract, you're doing due diligence. What was the rest of the process?
The rest of the process was great because everyone who went to the property, like contractors and inspectors and property managers, was like, this building is awesome. You guys got such a good deal. This location is amazing. We just got such positive feedback. So it just reinforced that we were, did the right thing by sticking with this property and getting a good price reduction. And now we know that it really has the value that we thought it was going to have, even more so. But yeah, so the rest of the process, I don't remember there being anything else major. But
I just want to interject for 1 minute because before we move on to a different topic, because what you said, that really has to do with your market research, because you knew it was an area that was on the edge of an emerging market that was, people want to be there and live there. And that was Denise and her market research. I didn't know that area.
I bet
it was a shot in the dark for me, but she knew that area.
I bet you so many people don't know that skill. And thank you, Teresa, because that's what I was going for. I was going to wait for Denise to talk. But Denise, can you walk us through? You earlier said about emerging markets that that's your favorite thing to do. Yeah. How do you know? How do you know when it's an emerging market that might pop, that might show these types of results? Because I know everybody else is probably trying to figure it out.
By talking to people, mostly like realtors and contractors. So when I first got into the Cincinnati market and I was trying to understand the different neighborhoods and where should I look, where should I not look, whatever, all those things. Everyone I talked to, property managers, realtors, and contractors, what's up and coming, where is kind of turning around and having a buzz of things happening. Where are they flipping houses? Where is there a lot of activity with contractors? Where are they all getting the calls for? So a lot of people, so I have a couple of properties in the Avondale neighborhood, because when I first started looking at properties and talking to realtors, every single person I spoke to said, get into the Avondale market. This is going to be a big deal. And I have since learned that was true. And so it's not necessarily driving around to see what looks good, because what looks good is already got hot. It's already too hot. If it looks like a cool neighborhood, it's going to be too expensive. So you often will drive through neighborhoods that don't look cool, but when you talk to realtors and property managers of where there's a buzz, you wouldn't know just by driving around. So you just have to talk to people who know where people are looking to live, where are they migrating to, and where are some cool restaurants popping up. Yes. And so when Evanston is this neighborhood that was one of them that I heard about. I knew that, Evanston was up and coming. I'd heard it a few times. And so I just kind of kept my eye on it. And it also just happens to be on the border of a very upscale neighborhood in Cincinnati. So I just knew that pocket was going to be good.
I love that.
Yeah.
How did you guys finance this one? How did you fund it and close it?
That was a local bank,
Okay.
or not local, I should say a small bank, wasn't real local, but
Like
yeah.
it functions like a local bank, but it's not in Ohio.
Okay.
If that
And
makes any sense.
Are you guys open to like just discussing the terms of the financing that you guys have in place and like how long are you holding it? What's the exit strategy? I'm sure that.
And we also
yeah.
have capital partners as well.
Okay. So you guys raised some money for this.
Mhm.
How much was the raise?
Denise is better at remembering numbers than I am. I'll just let her.
Not true. I would say we had to raise 300,000. Does that sound
Okay.
right?
Yeah, something like
Maybe
that.
250, something like that. It wasn't huge.
Okay. Where'd you guys find that?
Through the network,
Network.
friends and family, but also through the network of the Remote Multifamily Investing Academy.
Okay.
One of our capital partners I met at the intensive now called WowCon.
Right. I love that.
Yeah, when you put the stickers on us and you said who has money, who has deals, and we have different color stickers. And this person was sitting across from me and had the money sticker. I had the deal sticker. So we connected them and that time. And then a year later, I called them up. You still have capital to deploy? I have a deal for you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So networking in person is essential.
I love that. And I mean, we still do that because it's just the perfect way to facilitate relationships. Have deal, need money, have money, need deals. And then I think the other one is like, I'm just here for the popcorn.
Right.
I love that. So yeah, because you can find the financing, but getting the capital partners is a little bit easier for anybody in the Warriors of Wealth network. And so I'm glad that you guys were able to do that. How long is the hold on this one? What's your plan for this 8 unit? How long are you keeping it?
Well, the terms on the loan that we got, it's a 5-year balloon. So we're at least holding it for 5 years, either selling it or refinancing and keeping it.
Gotcha. Cool. And it already has $650,000 in equity?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
At the end of the 5 years, right?
At the end of the 5 years. Well, by in the next couple of years, like by year 2 and 3, it's close to that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we doubled the rents by renovating the apartments and just increased the value significantly that way.
Yeah, more than doubled. 2.5 times, maybe 3 in some cases.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Can you guys cool to share a little bit about that strategy? How did you guys go about that? How did you decide that strategy to get the value back up?
Well, we could just see that it needed to be rented needed to be renovated, and those neighboring rentals looked nice and new, and they were getting XYZ rents. And then our building was old and looked horrible, and we're getting like $400, $500 a month. So we renovated them one by one, and some people moved out. A couple were vacant. At least one was vacant at first, and we just got started on it immediately. And then some of the others, as the people moved out, they found other places. Maybe some weren't paying, whatever it was. We just kind of worked through it, doing 2 at a time, and renovated them. So that's how we did that. And I just could see what was, when we did our homework, see what the value was in this building, and we wanted to verify rents. I really, really drilled down on that. I'm not going to just go, my first start is just to go and look and Rentometer and see what it is. But I'm going to drill down on each one. I'm going to see what's available, what closed, what do they look like? What kind of kitchens do they have in there? Are they using granite? Are they using laminate? What's the floors look like? I'm drilling down in every single detail on that rehab because I'm going to spend the least amount of money I can, but I want it to get top rent. So you got to you got to balance those things. It's got to look amazing, but you can't spend the money. You need to keep your expenses down. So that's a challenge, but that's a place that I love to be. and I love to work in that space.
Ah, gold. So just the methodical, phased approach and doing the homework. Devil is in the details, Teresa. It's good stuff. You guys, I really appreciate you sharing this entire journey. I want you, if you can, what advice would you give to a new investor that's out there that's not sure that they want to partner, right? They just want to do it alone, but they're still banging their head on the wall. Like, what advice would you give them about selecting a partner or going for it?
First of all, you can go further, faster when you have support and when you work with someone. And getting that first deal is always the most difficult. And if you can do that with a partner, there's always time down the road to do one on your own if you feel like you want to. I did too myself without partners. But doing the deals with a partner is so beneficial because now look, Denise and I did that one deal together and that first deal, and now it comes time for apartments. We're like, we already have a partner. We know we can trust each other. We have experience working together. So when it comes to taking down the big ones, we're going to work together because we have that experience together.
Love it. Denise, do you have any additional insight?
Yeah, sure. I think it is a good idea to kind of get to know somebody before you get into this, for sure. But it also is really important that you have the same goals. Like there's a lot of different exit strategies or reasons why people want to buy real estate. And so you just want to make sure you're on the same page in the sense of, knowing how much time each person is going to be able to dedicate to this, knowing what specifically they want to get out of it. Is it just, they want to hold and hope for appreciation? Do they want the immediate return with the cash flow? How big of a rehab do you want to do, if at all? So I think knowing really specifically what you want out of the experience is super important, because you can say, like, I know people I've heard of stories where people are like, yeah, let's go buy this house together. And then once you're in it, like you're clashing because, one of them is like, I don't want to do this rehab anymore. And the other one's like, I want to sell it, but we can't sell it. And, so just making sure you're on the same page with what exactly you want, actually genuinely want out of the experience is super important.
Yes. Now we've got a lot of people on here that are coming to WowCon, either, in person or virtually, most of them personally. What advice would you give anybody that's coming in from the outside to their very first event, knowing that you've been to 6 of them yourself? What is the advice you would give to them about immersion?
Oh, it is like nothing else. It is not like just the inspiration part of it really gets a fire under your ass. It gets you so motivated and so excited. And it really is empowering to move forward and take the next steps, because you are learning so much. You are, you feel supported, which I think is the most important thing. And you don't feel as alone, because can be kind of a scary journey for people. And you really, it's easier to take the steps forward and to be making offers or do whatever the next step is for you when you feel like you have a support system. And so coming out of the WowCon, you feel like you have a support system. You've met people who you want to talk to again, and who could be potentially someone that you just either like are accountability partners, and people you want to check in with to see how things are going, or talking about, you're going to find someone who's interested in a market that you are, so you're going to connect and talk about that, and it's just going to help you feel like you have the power and the knowledge and to just do it, and just the motivation and the excitement of it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, Teresa,
and when you go there, when you go there, resist any temptation to be quiet. Go talk to people.
Yeah.
This group, I think, Jen and Stacy are such genuine people, and that's who they attract. The people in this group are so amazing. I have never felt like just didn't want to talk to somebody there, didn't like them. They're just I don't know. These people are amazing. Talk to people, get to know people. You're going to have opportunities to go out to dinner, with a group. If you don't know them, hey, can I tag along? You'll know them by the end of the trip, the time. You're going to build solid relationships. Go do every activity they have, because this is the people I've partnered with, on all my deals. A lot of them came from relationships I've built at the WowCon. And it's just when and Denise and I got to know each other on the Tuesday calls, but nothing connects you like when you meet in person and you have share a meal together. It's a whole different ballgame. You really connect, and there are lots of really fun and exciting activities that are team building and relationship building. Just do them. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. I love it. By the way, we made a change in August. We started organizing the dinners. So we've got Centurions that are leading teams and taking people to the dinners, and we're making reservations for everybody. So we've kind of took the chaos out of it and really just put a lot of intention into putting groups of people together so that you don't feel like you're, oh my God, I'm an outsider. We wanted to put a lot of care into that because we know that not everybody's actually in the academy. So we put a mix of people together that makes sense so that it's a little bit more, there's a lot of introverts in this world, but a little bit less anxiety provoking to go network. But I absolutely agree. Best advice you guys could have given was don't be quiet. Make sure you're talking. I love that. Cool. Well, for those of you, I know we got one question here. I'm going to move into the Q&A. So if you do have questions, guys, please put them in the Q&A segment. Let me get this. All right. First question. Woo. Okay. Did you guys virtually walk the property, or did someone go see the property in person? I believe it's about the 8 unit.
We did not walk it personally.
Neither one of us did.
I've actually haven't yet been to Cincinnati where all my properties are. I do everything. Yeah, I've done everything according to the program that Jen and Stacy's, provided all the steps of how to do this without having to be there. And in fact, as someone who has gone from having rental properties locally and wanting to walk the property, I felt like that was so important, to now doing this, it's such a better way of doing business because you're just getting the facts, and there's going to be people walking your property who know more than me anyway. So what's the point of me being there? Why can't they
That's a good point.
Why can't, if I was there, I'm not going to learn anything better. Right. So, no, we did not walk the property. We had our property manager, contractors, inspectors.
That's perfect. Following the system, right?
Yeah, just following the system.
I want to be able to chime in on that as well. And it's the system is if you were just sitting right here right now and all of a sudden water started dripping on my head, I'm not going to walk out the front door and scream for a roofer. And the thing is that when it's a remote market, you're not going to do that either. We're going to go to the computer. We're going to look for roofers. We're going to make a phone call. We're going to get to know them, ask some questions, vet them, and then either move forward with them or not. And I'm with you, Denise, because as you guys know, I used to invest by myself alone in my own backyard, just like y'all did. And I didn't get very far and I didn't make much profit. And while, Queen Bee over here in real estate was crushing it and hiring mentors and figuring out how to do it remotely. And I was like, how the hell did you do that? And one of the biggest shifts that I got from her when we first started dating and doing this together 8 years ago was, well, what would you do right now if the roof caved in? And I'm like, well, I would call a roofer. Well, okay. Well, does it matter if that's in Tennessee or right here? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And one of the things that I noticed is when I started going and doing remote investing versus doing it in my backyard, I actually had more time because when I was doing it in my backyard, I freaking went to Home Depot all the time trying to get materials. There was a day I went to Home Depot 5 times. I wish I was exaggerating. My dad could come on here and tell you the story. He was like, oh my God, it was so frustrating. But remote is actually easier. I would actually go ahead and say remote is easier than doing it in your own backyard.
I would agree with that 100%. And when I started applying the remote investing way of managing when I had my local property here, Um, like I used to, like if there was a problem, I felt like I had to go meet my handyman or I had to go meet the electrician. And then I was like, why do I need to be there? For what? I'm just going to stand there.
Yeah.
So I started, leaving a lockbox with the key for my handyman so he can like go in the basement if he needs to fix the furnace. It just became this whole switch that I was able to take a step back and realize that there are ways of getting things done without me having to be there all the time. And so it's very freeing.
Yeah, it is. All right. Mike has a question. And Mike, I'm not sure what PR means, but he said, did the GC and PR walk together at the same time or different times?
Oh, the PM probably.
Probably the PM, but the R is so far away from the M on the keyboard. I want to make sure. If we got that wrong, Mike, will you just tell us the question? And if you ladies don't mind, how did you get the GCs out there to do the bids or how to get the PM out there? What was that schedule like for you guys?
Teresa, you can answer that.
Calling till you find the right people, vetting them, following the system. You got to schedule them to get out there. I don't really have too much more to say than that, but it's just.
Yeah, it is just a matter of if there's tenants there, there is going to be someone who, whether it's the realtor or the seller's property manager.
That's what he said. Okay. Property manager. So did the GC and the property manager meet when you had the GC go do bids or do any work? How does that work? I think is what he's asking.
Yeah, there was usually somebody who was letting the property manager in. I mean, letting the contractor in. So,
and usually the realtor at first.
Yeah, usually the seller's realtor will arrange and make sure that the contractor or the inspector can get into the units. Yeah. They have to give the tenants, notice. So whoever needs to give them notice, the realtor will arrange with that. It's a little bit of a, of a thing, but it's, you're inconveniencing some people, but who cares? It's just part of it.
It's just part of the it's just business, right?
Yeah.
It's just business.
It's just
I love
business.
It. Ladies, thank you so much. This has been incredibly valuable. You guys, can you give them some love in the chat if this was helpful? They carved out an hour of their time to come pour in for you guys, pour a whole bunch of information, strategies. I am super grateful for you guys. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah,
look at all the
You're
love.
welcome.
All the love. You guys are amazing. All right. You know what? I'm going to just go ahead and end this really quick. And I want to let you guys know we have some incredible news. I think you guys already know. Where is this? How do you do this? Is it like that? Oh, did I mess up? Did I share this right? There it is. Boom. Hey, is that okay? Is that all right? If it's up there? Okay. I didn't know if I framed it right. I'm like not the tech
No,
person.
it looks great.
I wanted you guys to know that, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? Yeah. We actually sold out WowCon and we're freaking excited about it. But at the same time, we still have people like, I didn't know. It's like, is there a way? So we did create a virtual option for people. So, and it's only $47. It's only $47. And the reason why is because we can't record it. We can't make sure you're in the room. We can't make sure that you're networking and doing all those fun things and the team buildings, but you can at least stream and see the content and be a part of it. And everybody else that's already in the virtual room, I think we already have 20 people registered. In that virtual network, you can network in those rooms. So our students that are unable to travel during that time they're coming virtually. So there will be a group of Centurion students there, some emperors there, some gladiators there, all in that room that are watching and streaming virtual. They will be in those rooms. So if you want to come and network with some of them and watch some live content on seller financing, if you want to come into the room and hear from our fund managers or our national lender, asset protection, business funding, the whole nine, then make sure you register. The link is down here. Obviously Mark Zuckerberg doesn't let me say it out loud. So it's in the bottom right corner. And I think Stacy's going to drop the link for me in the chat, but make sure you get there. Make sure you come see it live, like stream it. We're going to be streaming. You're going to be there. It's going to be opportunities. I think we're even going to be able, when we do breakout sessions physically at WowCon, I'm probably just going to take my phone and log in on Zoom and just take it in and stand the tripod up so that you can even be there during the breakout sessions for all the people that are doing breakouts. But just a couple of things. I know a couple of people asked, is it going to be recorded? No, there will be no opportunity to record it. So you need to show up ass in seat on time every day. Get your pad, get your pen, write your notes, stay engaged, because you won't be able to record it and go back and watch it. you actually got to participate. So streaming live is not passive, it's still active. So get there. All right, ladies, thank you so much. I'm going to leave this up for anybody that wants to continue and go in there and register. We see a couple of people that are registering now. And thank you very much. We'll see you guys next Friday. Next Friday, I'm going to do some incredible things in here. Next Friday is what, the 27th? We're going to help you. I'm going to do some NLP stuff next Friday. So what we're going to do next Friday is I'm going to get you guys here. And if you're into that woo-woo stuff, I'm going to help you if you're stuck and in your own way and you're just like, you know what, a whole year has gone by and nothing is happening. And I know that I have some limiting beliefs and I'm not moving forward, or I'm too afraid, or, oh my God, the interest rates are too high, or there's this problem, whatever it is, just show up. And next week, I'm going to build you a ring of power together right here. Okay. Ring of power being, we're going to anchor in all the positive resourcefulness inside of you that's been there that you just have to call back. And then I'm going to rewire you collectively right here next Friday. So make sure you're registered for that and we'll see you there. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.